Hey, it's Colin with ModGolf. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. So we're just launching season 19 of the ModGolf podcast. Just finished up our episode 1. And we're talking apparel today. Golf. There is so much golf apparel, so much great stuff out there. How do you separate yourself? How do you differentiate yourself in the market? Well, I had that conversation earlier. We're going to expand on that. And that is with Hyman Ngo, who is with Levelwear, a great Canadian company, just a global company. Just because I'm Canadian doesn't mean okay, I'm a bit of a favorite here. I'm not going to lie, but yes, I'm even repping the brand here. Maybe I'll even be a Levelwear model. I don't know if they need any 61-year-old mid-handicappers to be on any runways anytime soon, but I'm willing to throw my hat and shirt in the ring to do just that. So hey, to get us going here, I'm going to bring him on. Hyman, good to see you again. Thanks for joining us on the ModGolf YouTube channel.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Well, hey, so yeah, we had a great conversation talking about the backstory of the company, how you've evolved and pivoted and expanded over the years. So we're not going to copy that conversation. The fact we've got a visual medium here with the YouTube channel, we're going to get right into the some of your collaborations that you have, talking about the ambassadors you have repping the brand. But let's start with, since we're both on screen, why don't we talk about this fabulous piece here that I'm wearing that I just love. It just makes me look almost athletic. So thank you for that. So tell me about this piece here that I'm wearing as part of the 2026 collection.
I'm afraid to tell you that is not part of the 2026 collection.
Oh, okay.
That's a bit of that's
you would know better than I. So, but I still look good.
It still looks good, and it's a classic piece. It's called the Oath, and I have a few colors in that style myself, and I think one of my favorite pieces. But that was in the line a couple of years ago. It's now discontinued. Oh, so I believe you can actually get it on the site for a discount now if you want.
Am I wearing a collector's item then? I better take care of this then. You never know.
But it is one of the best pieces that we never produced. So
I love this. So I think this ties into kind of the embodiment of the philosophy of the company. So why don't you touch on that for people that haven't listened to the podcast quite yet, as far as your differentiator? Like I talked at the top of the show here, what separates Levelwear from, as you mentioned, over 400 soft good companies at the PGA Show? I know they're not all your competitors, but there's, it's a very crowded marketplace. So how does Levelwear separate themselves and the value that you add that ties into your philosophy and your manifesto that we talked about earlier too?
Well, thank you. First and foremost, it's about the product. The product's got to be good. We are a athletic, performance-based apparel company. And so, trends are important, the collar sizes, the way things fit, we're very much on trend. We follow that very, very closely. I mentioned earlier on the podcast that, fit is really, really important to us. Like we've got a team of 6 people in our technical team, and all they do is make sure that every garment that we produce fits properly in every size, in every single style. And with the breadth of our line, it's not that simple. We don't just do polos. We do a lot of layering pieces, we do a lot of outerwear pieces, we do bottoms, we do hats, we do everything that we do. We spend a lot of time making sure that it fits right, from our technical teams to our QC teams and everything else. So that is a huge part of what the product is. As far as, the why, we talked about this earlier too, is we're, we stand for, the Who's With You tagline is all about community. It's all about the people around the athlete, the people around the organization. It's everyone who contributes to the success. It's not just a one-person effort. I'm sure even with your own, you've got a team of people who supports you and everything else. So for anyone to be successful, anyone to be the best, we have to surround ourselves with the best. And I think from so rather than celebrating the athlete or the one who is experiencing the success, we want to celebrate everybody around them that's helping them get to that point. And that's where I think a differentiator works. And I think it really comes through with the way we treat our customers, the way we operate our business. It's all under that premise. So
Now, speaking of surrounding yourself with the best here, you also collaborate with other companies that are pretty darn good themselves. And one, I'm going to bring this up on stage here. So, hey, you have this collaboration with Hurley. So, traditionally a surf brand, as you touched on the podcast earlier, Hyman. That yeah, even though golf is a kind of a core part of your apparel business, it's more than that. You're expanding into other areas. So I'd love to hear about this collaboration as I scroll through some of the pieces here and how this came about. I'm really curious that you obviously embrace this company culture of it's not about pure competition and try to kind of crush your competitors, that sometimes you're seeing there's incredible value of collaborating with others. So how did this come about and where do you see the value that made it all happen?
Well, how it came about, I mean, we've actually been seeking a collaboration partner for a little while now. This is our very first ever collaboration that we've run. We launched this at the PGA Show, which is at the end of January. So we're about close to a month in now, and in all of this stuff. So it's a very, very limited collection. I think it features 3 different polos, a layering piece, 2 hats, and maybe 10 t-shirts and hoodies. And I think for at least the polos were pretty much sold out. I think there's a few pieces. So if you're interested, go to the site, get it now. But it basically features, there's 3 iconic prints that Hurley has used, right? Their Aloha print, which is the black one on the left.
Yeah.
The Island Breeze print, which is that kind of black, and then a pineapple print. So these are prints they've used on their board shorts, on their t-shirts, and things like that. And so we said, hey, how do we then make this into a cool little a golf collection? And so we thought, let's create that. Let's use that artwork. And these are this is real pieces of artwork that they've used. And so we incorporated it into our line. We said, okay, let's make it into a cool polo, a hat, a performance hoodie that golfers would wear. And then let's take those two cultures and blend them together. And so they lent us one of their athletes, Eli Hanneman, they sent us great footage of him surfing. And then we used one of our athletes, and we used Corey Connors because he looked great in it. And then we did a photo shoot. So it was a cool concept because it merges 2 sports that really you think they're nothing to do with each other, and yet I think even these surfers. I think Eli himself is an avid golfer, and so he thought this was really cool to do a collab with a golf kind of inspired company. And I how it came about. Our VP of product in his previous life worked with Hurley, and so he got together with the head of Hurley and said, hey, we have this idea, let's put this together. And it came through very, very quickly. Like we actually started this in October, and by the time January rolled around, we were able to launch it. And by all accounts, it's been really, really successful. We're almost sold out, and we're looking forward to doing another one this year. There's going to be another one coming this year, so watch out for that. I'm not at liberty to say who it's with, but it's going to be probably around fall is when we're going to launch it.
All right. Well, I love the fact you're always progressing. You're always innovating. You're looking outside the box. You touched on earlier on the podcast that your design team, as they're looking for inspiration for the next year's collection, that you don't focus on the golf industry necessarily. You're looking at all aspects of fashion and apparel and fabrics. And for the most part, it sounds like outside
and even outside of the apparel space, we're looking at some hard goods and how do we take inspiration from architecture, other things that are going on in the world around us. And it's not just apparel.
Love this. All right. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is, this sticks with the whole partnership piece here, is the brand ambassadors that you have. Of course, being a Canadian company, you've made it front and center to make sure that with Corey Connors, Adam Hadwin, Taylor Pendrith, and others, that they are in your stable, and also some women too on the LPGA side. So when did that really come about? Like, how many years ago did you start to reach out to start to get brand ambassadors? And then you've really ramped that up, I think, in the last couple of years. So tell us about this platform. Why don't you tell us about that while I go around your website and pull all these faces up here?
Okay. I would say we started signing brand ambassadors. I would say 8 to 10 years ago. But there are a lot of kind of journeyman players, no big names, because our budgets were small. That's all we could afford at the time. Our first big kind of signing, interestingly enough, was probably 5 years ago when Hadwin was just coming out. And I remember in the very first day that he wore the product, this is a true story. The very first day that he actually wore the product, he shot a 59 at the American Express. I don't know if you remember that. And it was almost like, well, that's a good omen, right? The very first day you wore it, you shoot a 59. So
he'd never take it off. He'd shower in it, sleep in it.
And so, and that was kind of the start, right? And then from there, I think we signed Corey Connors right out of Corn Ferry. I think it wasn't even Corn Ferry at the time, but anyway,
right.
And so we kind of had access to these guys, and they knew we were a Canadian company. They knew, and then we supported them early on. And to their credit, they've been loyal. Even with Taylor Pendrith, like we've known him for a long time, and before he was successful. And so there's quite I think our top ranked guys right now are Corey, Aaron, and Taylor, and Ryan Fox, who actually won Canadian Open last year.
Right, right, of course.
That was a thrill for us. So yeah, I mean, I think this is, and we continue to support a lot of up and comers. One of those guys was AJ Ewart, who just got his store card. I think he's from BC. Okay. And so we do have we do support quite a few Canadian athletes. Like you see Michael Gligich, Stuart McDonald.
There we go. You've got some outside of golf here too, down at the bottom here, I see.
Yeah, we do have some athletes because of our pro sports connection. We do have this actually isn't quite up to date. So whenever we sponsor a team, so we'll have partners. So we were, for a little while, we were partners with Minnesota Wild. We're partners with Seattle Kraken, and then we go and find an athlete in that local market so that we can use them to drive some of the advertising. I think we're big partners of Edmonton Oilers, and we signed. Who did we sign this year? His name escapes me. But anyway, we have one of the defensemen for the Oilers who is also a brand ambassador. And so as we're trying to promote within that space our partnership with the team, we would use that athlete to do a lot of our marketing. So it's not just golf, although it is very heavily weighted on the golf side.
There we go. Well, talking about not golf, I know we talked about this on the podcast, but you have licensing agreements with Major League Baseball, the NHL, the NBA, and the PGA Tour, and one other that's coming. We're not going to mention that because I know that's still in negotiation here. We don't want to get anybody trouble here, as in you. But why don't you tell us a little bit? Well, let's just talk about the NHL and what you're doing with them as far as the collaborations and the licensing agreements, and why. Why you guys reached out and decided strategically this was good for the Levelwear brand. I'm really curious to hear this.
It's actually because we wanted to. We didn't want to be typecast as a golf centric company, right? And so we wanted to be like, we've always had aspiration. We're a sports apparel company. That's how we view ourselves. We just happen to have a strong golf segment in our business. And so we sought out, okay, well, how do we go get into other sports? And so we would then now create. So we started talking to, I think we first got into college because that was the easier license to get. We've since left that space. We wanted to focus more on the pro side. And so NHL has been a big partner of ours. We've been a licensee for probably the last 10 years. And it's grown steadily for the last 10 years, and it's actually quite a big part of our business. Although a lot of people probably don't recognize us in that space because we feature mostly the team as opposed to the brand. Yes. But if you go to any single NHL game, go into the team stores, you're going to find a bunch of Levelwear items in there. It's not front and center. We don't promote the brand necessarily, but it is, and I think the association actually gives us a lot of credibility, and we want to continue that for sure.
There we go. Love this. Well, as you can see, also with the NBA and others. So
yeah, get your gear at levelwear.com. There's plenty of stuff for you.
There we go. And see,
and when the
right
Blue
there,
Jays,
there it is.
When the Blue Jays made their run last year, that was a lot of fun, and we sold quite a bunch of product. But
I bet you did.
Last year, yeah.
I bet you did. So hey, as we finished up, like I said, we want to keep this kind of short and sharp here, and I do encourage our viewers here to go back and listen to the podcast episode. We hear about all the other things we talk about as far as innovation, sustainability, where you saw opportunities for growth. So as we finish up here, Hyman, why don't you kind of let us know what you can tell us? What can you pull the curtain back a little bit? What's coming down the pipe in 2027 and beyond? What excites you in the team as Levelwear continues to grow from a Canadian brand into a North American and global brand?
Well, it's that's one thing actually we didn't talk about. We've since last year we've expanded globally, and so we had brought on a distributor in the Middle East, and they're already selling product right now in the Middle East. We just signed a South African distributor. We signed a New Zealand distributor, and then I think we're about to sign a distributor in Southeast Asia. So we're global. We're global. And the great thing is the very first time the product was actually sold was at a golf event at the Abu Dhabi Championships this past year. And that was a launch of our brand in that market. And that same event, one of our athletes won. Aaron Rye won that event, which was perfect. Like the marketing guys joked that we actually set that up. We made sure that he won that event because we were launching our product.
Jeez, you got Ryan winning events. You got Adam shooting 59. It's like I have not worn this on the golf course to play because, of course, it's been a little chilly and rainy here in Vancouver, although I am playing. But I've got a feling that I have to get more Levelwear.
You're going to shoot a 59.
Well, maybe on the front nine. The old joke there, but no, with my 16 handicap, if I can break, who knows? Maybe I broke an 80 once, and so maybe my next. Break 80 is in some Levelwear apparel because it definitely gives me the confidence. I look fantastic in your stuff. So once again, I'm putting myself out there as if you need, like I said, if you need a 61-year-old model there, I'm offering my services.
All right, we'll definitely put that into consideration.
I'm sure you will. I won't hold my breath, but we'll see where it goes. All right, Hyman, why don't we finish up there? I love the conversation, like I said, both here and on the podcast earlier. And I just wanted to give our viewers a chance here to see some of the apparel that you guys have, and that it ties into your.
And by the way, we will be doing another collab in the fall. Look out for that. That'll be exciting. It'll be just as exciting as the one that we just did with Hurley. So look out for that. That's coming soon.
Well, if you don't sell out so quickly this time, who knows? Maybe I can get a piece or two and I can wear it in some ModGolf videos. So
absolutely. I think
I'm so desperately wanted to be one of your models here. I know it's a bit needy here. I gotta dial it back a bit here. I'll do my best.
We can still set you up.
I appreciate that. Hyman Ngo with Levelwear. Hey, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate this. And the conversation's been great, and look forward to doing more stuff with you guys in the future.
All right, great. Thank you very much.
All right.
Appreciate your time.
Bye for now.
Okay, take care.